It's just that we were putting the world to rights behind screen, just complaining. So hello, welcome. Hello. We've got Lizzie and Susie already using the hashtag. We love to see it. So Lizzie and Danny have both chosen the death board. So they can like pick and choose whoever they want to support, which I love. So I will be totaling up points later as well. Hey, Courtney. And then we've got Jamie. Love you, Jamie. But I don't think I even need to introduce you. Everyone knows who you are. We have Team Angel and Team Demon here, which we love to see. And then, as if by magic,
hello. Hey.
The other half of Team Demon turned up. You're not even late because we've just been I've been ranting backstage, so you've not missed anything except stuff that's completely irrelevant to you. Cool. So how the scavenger hunt is going to work is I'm going to kind of tell you what prompt one at a time, and then I'm going to tell you which book you can't pick. So if you've read the description, for anyone who's watching, basically the contestants are going to get 100 points for their team every time they pick a book to fit on the scavenger board. They will only get 50 points per book if they pick the same book I have already chosen, but they can get a bonus 50 points if they are the first back with their pick. Now, Abby has already told me that Abby is working at a disadvantage because all of her books are in York and she is currently in Newcastle.
Oh, I'm halfway between moving. I have some books. It's my TBR shelves. So it's 90 books I haven't read, so I don't know what they're about.
Okay.
So I have books. I'm not at a complete disadvantage, but it's if you're pick a book that has X in it. I'm like, if it's not on the synopsis,
then you don't know.
Tish, you're gonna have to do everything. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm sure Tish can cope. And Kelly is also at a disadvantage because Kelly has plans. So if this overruns just a little bit, Kelly will need to skedaddle. So
I feel like at least I'm going to the ballet, which is like a suitably dark academia thing, though. That's the only thing making me feel better about this. I feel like I've still got the right vibe going.
Yeah, that, and you look so glamorous. You look so lovely. So.
I just have to keep making sure that you can see the top of my dress, so it doesn't
yeah, so that I don't get flagged. Just by the way, it's here. I like that. So no slouching from Kelly. But okay, so the first prompt then is a nice, easy one because I've seen these all over different books everywhere, and it's nice and vague. So the first prompt is birds. You need to find a book that either has birds in it or birds on the front cover. And the book that you are not allowed to pick is the Black Flamingo. Go. Perfect. Oh, I love that. Well, Ashley gets the bonus 50 points for barely getting out of her chair. I'm going to say, excellent. Okay.
I didn't know whether this would help or not sitting here because I'm if they're gothic stuff, all of my dark books are in the other bloody room. So I'm this could go one way or another.
I'm hoping at some point you might get out of your chair, but I would completely understand if you didn't. Right. Okay, let's put. So do you guys just want to run through what book you picked? Because that was very quick. You kind of all just went, here it is. So Abby, do you want to go first?
Yep, so I picked Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. It has a woman's face kind of combining with what I think is a raven. And it's on my TBR for this month, which is why I knew to grab it.
Excellent work. Kelly?
Is it me? I have Poems to Live Your Life by Chris Riddell, which has a teeny tiny little bird over there. But luckily it also has a bird on the spine. So as soon as I stood up, I could see it.
Yeah, you were there it is. It's on the spine. Ashley?
I picked Fire by Kristen Cashore, which same thing, it had a bird on the spine. So I was like, that one! The second book in the Cursing series.
Perfect. How did your read along of that go, by the way?
It's been postponed and I'm not in it anymore.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry for asking. I'm actually okay. I got the audiobook and still didn't get time to listen to it, so that's fair enough. Okay, Tish. You're muted. I don't know if that was me or you've clicked that.
You need to unmute yourself, my love.
There it is.
Anyway, I picked the crows because it's got a giant crow on the front and in the title.
And in the title, yeah, bonus. Like, it's really. This is the thing is, the book that I nearly picked Six of Crows, and then I was like, I'm almost 100% sure we've all got or read Six of Crows, so it felt like a really mean one to pick. Like some of these, I've intentionally picked something that I'm almost 100% sure we all have, and then other ones I've been like, no, I'm going to be nice about it and kind of give you some opportunity to get the full points. But well done.
I really thought that you weren't going to tell us which book you'd picked until after.
So
So
did
we'd be
I.
like,
Shall I do that for the next one? Shall I just not tell you what I picked for the next one?
Damn it, Ashley!
What an excellent idea, Ashley. I love that.
That's what I thought as well, but I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah. And
I'm
now
just
that it's
like-
been said, that yeah,
Ashley, you're
excellent.
the kid that used to be like, oh, what about the homework?
I can see it.
Like your homework. So.
Do you know what the thing is? Like, as an ex-teacher, I genuinely came up against like students that would be like, "Miss, what's the homework?" And we used to do these like Nando menus where the kids could just pick something that was like easy, medium, and hard for them to do. And there was like 30 tasks. They could pick whatever ones they wanted to do over the term. And if they remembered to give me homework, then I would give them merits. But if they said to like the whole, "Oh, Miss, what's the homework?" I would just be like, "Oh, have you not been paying attention?" And like kind of like throw it back at them because I'm a terrible person and be like, "Well, you already had this list of homeworks you could have chose from." Ha. Like I said, it's a terrible person. So in the comments, we have the Twisted Tree. We got a couple of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is another one that I thought would come up quite a bit. Muse of Nightmares. This is how you lose the time war. If we were villains. Oh, how poignant, Jamie. That is going to come up again later. Can't wait to tell you all about it. And You Must Not Miss, which is another great one. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you what I picked for the next one. I'm just going to see if you pick it because I think that's really funny. It's absolutely Ashley's fault and I'm thrilled.
I just
Okay.
okay. The angel role where it's just like teachers.
I might see if you guys can guess it as well. I might just not tell you. I might just see if you can guess it. Just really string out this live stream for as long as possible.
Kelly's just sat there crying.
Yeah.
Not even about not being able to get to my plans. That just sounds like
A lot. I hate guessing games. I wouldn't do that to you, but you're fine. Okay. Your next prompt is grey. Just the word grey.
Fuck's sake.
Good choice. Another 50 points to Ashley for not getting out of her chair.
I actually like stood up briefly there.
Yeah, a little bit. There was a little bit. Okay, we've got heroes.
Do you know how tempted I am to move to sit on the floor by where my shelves are?
I mean, you're more than welcome to. I love that I can hear Tish talking to herself.
No. I can't find it. Okay, I do have the picture of Dorian Gray, which makes me feel like that's exactly the book that you picked, but it's the only one I have, so
Okay.
it is.
It's
isn't
not
it?
the book
I feel
I
like I
picked,
can look
to be
at
fair.
Okay.
So excellent choice. It was the book that made me think of the prompt, but it wasn't the book that I picked once I had the prompt there, mainly because I can't find my copy.
That's good.
It is, however, in the comments.
Oh.
So I'll tell you it once we've gone through yours. Abby, what did you pick?
Mind Game by Terry Terry. I don't know what this one's about. TBR shelves, but it's
That's
great.
fair. That's fair. Anytime you say that, it makes me think of Ashley's reel or TikTok, where it's like, have you got books on your shelf you've had for so long you don't know what the synopsis is? Because every now and then I will look at my shelf and I'll be like, let's add that to the list because I haven't got a clue anymore what that's about.
I just want to clarify, this isn't all of them.
No, I know. That's fine. Kelly, what'd you pick?
heroes. Just it was the only thing I could find that had grey on it.
It's a lot of grey. You've got different shades of grey there. That's another one you could have picked that I also didn't pick, by the way. Also did not pick several
I think
shades of
Ashley
grey.
went the same way as me there.
I like that. Ashley, what did you pick?
The Persephone Book of Short Stories, which is
Oh, I love
entirely great.
I like
So
that there's a
all of
theme
them-
there as well. You've
all
got
of
that as
them-
well. Amazing.
I don't have the same one. All of the Persephone books look the same on the outside.
Yeah.
So mine's Green Banks by Dorothy Whipple.
Cute.
Could have
Love
done that.
And
That really
Tish,
does.
even though we heard you at the beginning. Which one did you pick? Picture of Dorian Gray.
Picture of
Excellent.
Dorian Gray.
The one I picked was Law,
Oh.
because it's different shades
Wow.
of grey as well. So you will all get 100 points there. Well done. But yes, it was in the comments. Where's it gone? So Monster Lux guessed correctly.
I-
The
I get bonus points for having a great cat.
It's a baby. Yes, you can have bonus points for that. Absolutely.
Hey.
If anyone else has pets they would like to drop on the screen, you can also earn bonus points. It's a really easy way. We've got Down Among the Stick and Bones, rock, paper, scissors. There it is. New Jamie would have my back. Lizzie calling me out, which is completely unfair, because I know I've told this story publicly before, but I'm going to tell it again because it's one of my favorite things. The way I was introduced to 50 Shades of Grey was a friend of mine who was a sex worker gave me the book and said it wasn't her thing, but she thought I would really like it. Can confirm was not my thing. No, absolutely not. Did not enjoy it at all. Was like, this is bizarre. And now I'm worried what she thinks of me. Okay. The next one is a little bit more tricky because I don't think you're necessarily going to find this on the cover. So everyone else has an opportunity to get the bonus points because Ashley might not be able to see it just from her chair.
The thing is, no matter where I sit, in my flat, there's books nearby. So.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's the best way to live, just surrounded by books at all times. Thing is, when I was doing all the recommendation videos and like TBR videos and things like that, I just had stacks of books in my room and no shelves. There were no shelves in my room whatsoever. So then when I put them all away, I was like, wow, my room's actually a lot bigger than I thought it was. Finally having put them all away. Okay, so prompt number 3 is a laboratory.
Oh.
Well done, Abby.
And if it doesn't, then like considering the content of the story,
I was going to say,
think
I feel like an
it's-
alchemist would, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if this counts. I've only just started reading it.
Okay, that's fine. I can't see what it is. It's just a blank spine to me.
Catherine House.
Oh, it does count. It does count.
I was just like, they've mentioned labs.
They do.
I don't think I have any.
You don't have any with labs at all?
I don't think so.
What about like an apothecary or I think you might have like a fantasy that has like a workshop type room. I would accept
There's
a
a good
workshop.
I was gonna say there's probably a good chance that I do, but I haven't read it yet, so I don't know that.
It's
Yeah, I
tense.
really don't
It's
know
watching
what
you
to
as tense.
I mean, I have Stalking Jack the Ripper, but I don't know where it is, and I know she has a laboratory because they do.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling like I maybe put that away for some reason because it's not here. Yeah, and I don't know if she has it in Hunting Prince Dracula, even though it's the same character. Because I haven't read it.
I would assume she wouldn't give up her lab in book 2. She's like, oh, I only needed that one for book 1, so we're going to move on.
All right, well, I'm going to use it and pretend I already know that she still has it. So
that's fair. That works. So which book in the series is that? The Hunting Prince Dracula?
The second one, I think.
Okay. And
I don't know how many there are.
No, neither do I. Anyone know? No.
4, 3.
Because I know
We're
there's
great
one.
booktubers.
Yeah. I know there's one about Houdini, and then I think there's another one about the devil. I think maybe those are the last two, but I only have the first two.
I only have the first one, and that's because someone else unhauled it and again said, "This is not my thing; it's yours." So now I'm really nervous about it.
I liked the first one. I thought it was pretty good.
I've got high hopes. I do quite like Jack the Ripper stories, like spin-off narratives and things like that. I find them quite interesting because there's just so much like interesting mythology along that. So
yeah,
just a lot to play with, you know. So Abby got the 50 points bonus this time for sitting back down quicker. Clearly the right move to sit right next to your shelves this time, Abby.
Definitely, considering most of the books in the house are here. So I ended up with The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. Didn't even think of the title, just thought of the fact that I know that it's got Mary Jekyll. So I was like, that's good.
That's got a lab. You can't be a Jekyll and not have a lab.
But it's close enough.
Yeah. That's fair. I like that.
Give me a year or two and I'll let you know.
Yeah, fair enough. A year or two. Yeah, fair enough. I like that.
I'm realistic.
That's fair. Kelly, what'd you pick?
I picked an Artemis Fowl book because, like, the fairies make weapons and stuff, so they have to have some sort of lab.
Do they make weapons, do they, Kelly?
Weapons.
What kind of weapon do you use with that motion?
Fairy weapons.
Oh, my mistake. Sorry. Haven't read it in a while. No, that's fair. I like also that it's really shiny.
It's so shiny. It's fantastic.
I like that. And finally, Ashley.
Catherine House, which I'm currently reading, so I wasn't entirely sure, but we got it. And then I realised Vicious could have also been one.
Yeah.
And it's literally there, and I just ran past it.
Yeah, that's fair. If I learned anything from hosting Taskmaster, my favourite thing is watching people as they realise there was a more simple explanation, like right there. That's like my favourite thing. Kelly was obviously there for the live stream around that when we did. You had to get from A to Z, like just in titles basically, and watching everyone panic because they don't have an E in their title, and then just doing lots of S's. No, Mr. Fury, just do that and you win. It's easy. Cool. Okay, so we had in the comments The Only Good Indians, Strange Practice. I wonder if that has labs. I've not read that one. Not sure. Don't worry if your YouTube notifications are late. I will get to them eventually, I'm sure. Don't panic. Yep, another Frankenstein would have worked, or Frankenstein would have worked. Skullduggery Pleasant. Looking at you, Abby.
Right, but that's up there. You know damn well that's on my bed.
I know, but like Ken's
you know from every Skullduggery live stream we've had, that involves climbing on the bed because I do it in every live stream because I forget a book.
Every single one.
The above the bed.
We've got Annihilation, Come Tumbling Down. We've got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was another good one. Middle Game obviously has that. I thought this was a book then. I was like, I don't know where the lab is or could be. But then I realised that it was this. So to tell you which book I chose, and don't panic, you all got 4 points for that one because I chose Down Among the Sick and Bones, which is the second one and looks at a young girl and her sister living their creepy lives. I think this one and probably Come Tumbling Down are my two favourites in that series. Just thought I'd let you know.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. Okay, the next one, again, is probably not necessarily going to be on the cover. It's going to have to be a book that you know, and that is An Alternate History.
No.
What do you mean by alternate? Like, as in, it has to be? Can it just be fictional, like fictional history, or does it have to be directly, purposefully twisting real history?
No, I would say as long as it's an interpretation of history, but not a non-fiction about history, that could work. I've clearly made that easier. Well done, Kelly.
Ashley sitting there like, I don't read historical fiction.
I really enjoy just the interesting.
I have some, I just don't know if we're proud of.
See, this is where it's helpful that this shelf is anything that isn't fantasy.
Yeah.
It's just like, what's on there? What can I use?
I don't know if the book can tell you.
I just have historical fiction, so have some.
The thing is, I'm almost 100% sure that you have read at least one alternate fantasy, because I'm almost 100% sure I've seen it in a wrap-up.
Probably. It'll be the name of alternate history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. So Abby, tell me about which one you picked.
Three Sisters, Three Queens by Philippa Gregory. This was bought for me by my little brother. I know very little about it, but it's about like actual historical queens in Tudor times. And I don't know what Philippa Gregory does with it, but she's not known for being accurate, so
No, she's not. No, she's not. I love how passive aggressive that was. She's not known for being accurate.
It wasn't meant to be.
I loved it. I loved how bitchy it was. Do that again. Loved it. Kelly, what did you pick?
I have Dr. Zhivago, because it's about the Russian Revolution. I think.
Excellent choice.
I haven't read it.
It's
Welcome
set in
to
history.
my world.
It's set in history. I'm sure things happen. Things happen. That's fine. Tish, what did you pick?
The Savage Instinct. It's about the real life serial killer Marion Cotton, but a little fictitious.
You did a review of that, didn't you, on your channel?
Yes.
See, I watch all of you all of the time. Don't you worry. And then Ashley, what did you finally work around to pick it up?
Prisoner of Night and Fog, which is a historical fiction about Hitler.
Okay.
The first one I thought of was Wolf by Wolf, which is literally an alternative history thing, but I just don't own it anymore. So I was like, well,
like that helps nobody. No, that's fair. I thought, do you not own like Tessa Grattan's what's her like Ines Lear books?
no.
I thought you did. Anyway, there's the Samantha Shannon Priory of the Orange Tree, which is based on I can't remember someone loosely.
Arthurian, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, George the Dragon. That's it. Yeah, so I'd have accepted that one as well, which it was the first one that came to mind as well. But
That wasn't the like legendary telling for me.
that's fair. That's fair. Okay, well, you all get points, and Kelly got the bonus points for basically just standing up and sitting down again, like almost immediately. The one I went for was the Poppy War.
I literally have that right there.
That's so cute. Oh, that's so embarrassing.
But it's good because if you had picked this, you'd have only got the points.
Oh god.
So it wasn't anything that you forgot. It was right there. I think it's for the best. So let's.
Future Witches, which is inspired by fucking suffragettes. So
Yeah.
wow.
I think that's my favourite thing you've ever said, and that one that's by fucking suffragettes. I love that so much. Okay, so in the comments, we had the Wind Up Girl from Team Hellhounds, Man in the High Castle, A Master of Gin, which I have just hauled, so I hope that's good. 1,000 Ships.
I will not be accepting judgment for my trousers. Just mentioning that. They weren't supposed to be on camera. I didn't bring the water or my phone. I've been at work all day. Leave me alone.
I was reading comments. I wasn't even paying attention to your trousers, but now I feel like I need to really. I need to see
It's
your
not
trousers
just about
properly.
you, Hannah. It's not just about you.
Whose channel is this on? You tell me. I think you'll find. No, I'm joking. That was the other thing, Ashley. I'm sure you've got like 100 Greek retellings as well. They probably wouldn't
Yeah,
count
but
this.
they in my brain are categorized as myth, which
No,
they're not
that's fair.
all myth, but
Ring Shout would have been another good one. Is this a Stephen King one?
Yeah.
Yes. I have it.
Excellent.
So I could use that.
You could have used that. So to answer your question from earlier, yes, I'd have allowed it, and it's my game, so that's fine. Outlander, I need to read these books because I loved the TV series, at least the first season, so I feel like I need to read those books. We love to see it. Blood Heir is an Anastasia. I had Romanoff, which I was trying to find originally as an Anastasia retelling, but I can't find that anywhere, so that's not the book I picked. Okay, so no, this is how we did it last year. So last year it was just me and my friend Carolyn, and I gave Carolyn the board initially, and then whilst everyone else was finding books and putting comments in the chat, we were reading and did like little reading sprints in between. But because I had more people to hang out with this time, I thought it'd be more fun to watch you guys squirm and just like run around looking for books. So that's what I've decided to do. I was nicer last year, and hey, who knows? Maybe I'll be nicer next year. But let's not hold our breath. Because the more I get away with it, the more I will do it. So it's fine. The next one is really, really easy. The next one is I need you to find a book with a hero on the cover.
Oh, crap.
Wait, that's not a person.
She didn't say person.
I didn't say person. I just said hero. Yeah. That's not a person. I like that.
It was like a hand, and I was like, that's really vague. I have no idea who that hand belongs to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, define hero.
That's a literature student.
Actually, I think you're going a bit deep.
Yeah.
All of us just went, is that a human being that could possibly be the hero? Yes, it will do.
So long as like they could like I should have said anti-hero. That would have been even more complicated.
No, I know it's that one. We'll have this one instead.
That's
a person, right?
That is a person, correct. Now I'm going to let you guys decide whether Kelly gets 100 points or 50 points because someone decided to double up. Kelly, show them the book that you picked.
Oh, are we not allowed to do that?
Well, that's what I'm letting everyone else decide because I didn't think that was something you were going to do.
It was right here.
It was, and yet somehow you still didn't make it back before Abby did.
So it was under my laptop because as I get a book, I'm increasing the height of my laptop.
Ah, nice. Okay. So yeah, do you think that Kelly deserves 100 points for picking the same book twice, or?
I mean, I'm biased, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly because she literally got one that says heroes on the front. That I'm like,
yeah, that's my other thing. Is I'm like, okay, fair enough. That was clever, but also kind of cheating.
I mean, if I learned anything from my Taskmaster experience, it's that the simplest methods are always the best.
Yeah, no, you're
All of us were like, oh, this must be really complicated. And Hannah's just like, no, you've missed the entire point of all of it. It was just this. We're like, are you being serious?
All it proved is I do not think the same way other people do. Like, it's a case of like, oh, my brain is on this level whilst everyone else is here. Like, the amount of times Lizzie was like, I thought it would be more complicated than that. And it's like, no, I'm stupid. Like, it's down here. Don't you worry about it. Okay.
I wasn't able to go to the live. I watched that live back, swearing.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Okay, well, Kelly, I'm going to give you the 100 points because you used my own spells against me in that. And like, yes, the simplest method does work the best. So I'm going to allow it. So we had Carry On and Wayward Son came up. They have their heroes on the front. We've got Percy Jackson.
That's the one that I ran for before realizing it's behind like 3 stacks of books, and I couldn't getting it out.
You're like, no, it's
not
worth it.
Find a hero, and here we are.
Yeah, absolutely, good shout. The Shadow of Gods, which is fair. I haven't seen that one, so I don't know what the front cover of that one is. We've got a couple of Percy Jacksons actually that came up a lot. Hunger Games, which I think depends on which covers you have, because the newer ones have just got the bird on the front, whereas the original covers you can either swap between Peter or Katniss, is the copy that I've got. So depending on which way you fold the thing at the front, depends on who you have, which I quite like.
I don't have that one.
It's the only reason I won't get rid of it. Like, I have the newer covers because it came in like a box set, because I didn't have the second 2 in those covers. But I have that first one, and like it just amuses me that I can fold it in different ways.
Just amuses you.
Yeah. Well, again, you all get full points because I went with Legendborn.
Nice.
So, what did you pick, Abby, in the end?
Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Austin. Again, not read it, but this is clearly Amari.
Oh yeah,
And so
she's clearly doing some hero type shit on the front there as well. So we love that. Excellent. Tish, what did you pick?
Sorcery of Thorns.
Yep. I have nothing to say about that book. And Ashley, what did you pick?
Cinderella is Dead.
Excellent.
This girl on the front.
I was like, I did think I'd seen it, and then I was like, I'm just gonna run through them again and just double check. Okay, the next one is trickier, but I will also allow some flexibility with this one. I don't think it's going to be a problem for either Abby or Ashley. I don't think it's going to be a problem for either of you.
No pressure.
No. No pressure. But it might be slightly trickier for Tish and Kelly. The prompt number 6 is a still life. As in like a still life portrait, landscape, painting type thing.
why is that? I mean, can it be a photo?
No, that's a photo.
I said, can it be a photo?
And I said
Mike,
no.
does this work?
That works.
Okay.
That works.
How is this easy?
No.
What is your prompt?
Wait, did I make it back first?
Oh,
No, Ashley's not back yet. You got back first.
I don't know what you
I'm
mean.
not. This is good because I'm not last, which has been the theme for me.
So most still lifes are of like flowers or fruit or landscapes. They're
Why
like,
do you think I've got flowers and fruit on my shelves?
because a lot of the like Penguin classics or like old school have like portraiture on the front.
And you think I have Penguin Classics?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not just spend like an entire year reading War and Peace with Olivia?
War and Peace has a woman on the front of it.
And what is the classic you're reading next?
I'm reading The Three Musketeers and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
And what is on the front of those?
Well, The Three Musketeers is 4 blokes standing around with swords. And Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a man holding a flask.
I would argue the flask would count as part of the still life because that's the whole point. Is it's like a painting, it's a portraiture.
I just didn't understand the assignment.
That's fine. That's fine. We got you there eventually.
There you go.
Yeah.
Test tube more than flask. My apologies for my incorrect scientific information.
I love that the word out of all of that you struggled with the most was information. The easiest.
One of the comments is just like, Hannah, a portrait or a landscape isn't still life. Did you just want to paint it?
Yeah, basically. It would be the artist. But like when I show you mine, I'll explain to you why I'm like pick still life as opposed to just like a portrait.
Is a painting of a fruit bowl.
Yeah. Or flowers or things like that.
I mean, if you say it counts, then sure.
I do.
I'll take it.
Kelly, what'd you pick?
The Goldfinch.
Oh.
Ashley?
The entire works of Shakespeare. Because this isn't creepy at all.
No, that's terrifying.
Just that on your shelf, like, hello.
I kind of hate that.
It's horrible. But this got me through uni.
Well, there you go. So it stays. And Tish.
House of Hollow.
See,
I
yours
actually really
is
love this cover.
Yeah, I much prefer. Well, I prefer it with like the white because obviously the British one doesn't have that. It's just the flowers and face and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is the closest to what I picked in like style, which is why I said still life instead of just portrait. But there's another one on here that's the last one that I'm like, yes, this is the word that I've picked, but I'm also happy for mass flexibility with regards to what it is, just because I picked it because it seemed like a really good gothic prompt and then was like, might be a bit niche. So the one that I picked was Ghosted. Because obviously where it's got all the flowers and stuff,
that's
like
pretty.
that's the kind of thing that I meant by like a still life. But obviously it also has a human in it, so
Would that have counted?
isn't that a photograph?
No.
I mean, it kind of looks like a photograph.
It does, but the black-eyed Susans are clearly photoshopped on.
Oh, well then, fine. Whereas this is painted, you know, like time went into this. I can Photoshop stuff, it can't be that difficult. I'll say that like I've got any artistic ability whatsoever. So we have in the comments, name of the rose, a little life. That's a photograph.
I was going to say, if you accept Little Life, you're accepting all the other ones that I've held.
No, I'm not. I'm not accepting that at all. Girl with Pearl Earring is a portrait, so I'd allow it, mainly because Pixie's told me that I'm wrong and I should have just said a painting.
If you
I'm going to change it on the board. I'm going to change it on the board before I post the board
Also,
after
how
this
is
to
this
just
not?
painting. That's a photograph, isn't it?
That's a painting, Hannah. Are you telling me I would have been fine?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can see that so clearly via a webcam.
Excuse me, my webcam is 1080 HP because I stole it from
and
work.
my internet is shit. So 3 women would have counted because that's got loads of like flowers and fruit on the front. I don't know what that has on the front, but I'm assuming something similar.
Fruit and flowers.
A lesson in vengeance. Yeah, it's all flowers and stuff, isn't it? So I'd probably allow that as well. I got that a couple of times. I went for speed instead of accuracy. Yeah, fair enough. Yes, that also has flowers and stuff on the front, so I'd allow it. So on the board, I will change it after this to painting instead of still life. That's my bad. I apologise.
Then I'm switching my answer to this one because it would have been fine.
It doesn't matter, Abby. You still got the 100 points for it.
It's not with me.
Okay. I'm going to deduct points just because you're being petty.
I am the entire year.
I've never known anyone to be as argumentative as I am, and I don't know how to deal with it. The next prompt is symbols. So you're looking with a book with symbols on the front.
Symbol?
It's a crown.
I don't know.
Those count? Yeah.
Hey.
What about on the spine?
What is in that little logo at the bottom?
The lightning bolt.
Yeah, that would count. You look so upset, Kelly. Are you okay? Do we need to take a time out to talk about Kelly? Are you all right? What's going on?
I'm just like, what is a symbol?
I mean, that's, yeah, fair enough. What is a symbol? How would we all define what a symbol is?
Kelly's like, oh no, and I'm like, Hannah, is it this?
Yeah, very aggressively, might I add. Which I don't mind. I don't mind a little aggression. I would say
I've been yelled at by about 30 people today, so it's my chance to yell back at someone else.
Oh, cool. So you're just taking it out on me.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Cool.
I can take it. It's fine. I would say that a symbol is anything that has meaning, but isn't necessarily a letter or a number from the alphabet that we currently use. All I see is the crown. What symbol is on that?
The crown is a symbol. A crown is a symbol. Maybe this one because it's too realistic. But if I had like a little like crown in the same style as this, then that's totally a symbol. A crown is a symbol. It's a symbol of the monarchy.
Arguably. I'll let the others decide because I'm not convinced that just a crown on its own is a symbol because it could be a bride.
A bride?
A bride wears a tiara and some extra brides wear crowns.
What do your southern lot do? What brides put tiaras on their heads?
I got married last week. I wore a tiara.
There's your answer, Kelly.
I really enjoy that you're just doing that. Like she's actually there and gonna have that in her face. I enjoyed that a lot. Okay, well, Jamie agrees with you. We have crowns are a symbol of power. I guess a bride would have power in that it's her big day.
I mean, I agree that it's a symbol. I'm just saying I did wear a tiara.
Oh, then I take back the hand. I'm sorry.
Now that you're on my side,
Everyone says it's a symbol.
But then I guess it's a symbol, Abby. Fuck me, I guess. Jesus Christ. Let's go the other way around. So Ashley, what did you pick for symbol?
The Atlas 6 for this funky looking thing.
Yeah, lots of symbols on that one. Love that. Tish?
The language of thorns.
Brilliant.
A lot.
Kelly?
The Secret History has a coin on it with like a little Greek situation happening.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if it's like a glyph or something, that could count. I mean, if a crown can count, that can count for sure. I'm gonna say something really controversial though, because Abby was busy shouting at me. I don't know who sat down first. I know it was between Tish and Ashley, but I don't know who sat down first.
Right. Okay. Remembering that I'm Team Hellhounds,
Mm.
Ashley sat down first because when I turned around, I saw her in my peripheral. I'm sorry, Tish, but she did.
That's fine. Okay, cool. I was just going to give you both the points, but Abby said that it's going to.
Thanks.
Shit.
I really enjoyed that. Just shit, like that really. So that really got me. And the ones I went with was Midnight Twins, mainly because I don't think anyone else has read this, and it was just an excuse to bring it up again because it's an Arthurian retelling, but it's got like the Celtic like links and stuff on both the front and the back. But it's a really cool Arthurian retelling in that there are no love interests in this. Totally platonic sibling rivalry. We enjoy a chill YA. Okay, the next one is much easier. Green. It's just the colour green.
This one.
I tell you what, I nearly picked that one for this prompt actually, but I didn't because I thought someone here was going to pick something else, so I've gone for that instead. Okay, so Kelly, what did you go for?
From dawn to decadence, 1500 to the present, 500 years of Western cultural life, which I feel like it's not picking up, but it is very green.
I can see the green on that. I'm more concerned that I thought you read for fun.
I mean, it's on my shelf. It doesn't mean I've read it.
Okay, fine. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That makes complete sense to me. I was just like, Kelly, are you okay? that was my thought. Much like when we saw the Shakespeare earlier from Ashley, but then Ashley clarified that it was for uni. That made complete sense to me then.
I mean, I genuinely would like to read it, but like when I retire, maybe.
When I retire, maybe. Love that. Ashley, tell us about the book you picked.
Last Graduate. This is an arts version, but it's green.
Such a humble brag. It's an art. It came out yesterday.
I didn't have any plan to read, but yeah. I feel like every time there's a prompt to find a book with a green cover that I'm just like, there are none. So I'm just very glad I have that one.
Yeah, excellent. And Tish, what'd you pick?
False Witness by Karen Slaughter. The whole book is green. This highlighter yellow is very out there, but the book is green.
Okay, that's fair enough. And Abby, did I ask you already? I can't remember.
No, I picked a Son of It's Ruin. It's on it's
very
road.
green. It's very green. I know that one's green because I've read that one. I'm currently working on Last Graduate, and the other two I will not be picking up. So, the one I picked, because I really did think someone would pick this up, because it is very green.
I don't have those editions.
I mean, that's probably.
I don't have those editions.
No,
fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that you would want these editions. These are not my favorite covers ever, but I did want to have the full set, and I only had the first two in the other covers when I bought these, and then Olivia unhauled the third book. So now I do have the original covers and these, but because I spent money on these, I don't want to give them away.
Yeah.
That might change. That might change when I come to move house and I'm like, I don't need both, and these are just not. They're just not it. I mean, that is the angriest looking bird I've ever seen in my life. Fair For absolutely no reason whatsoever. So let's have a look. We've got Mexican Gothic, Drowned Country, A Heart So Fierce and Broken, The Ale House at the End of the World, Wilder Girls would have been another good one, Heartstopper 3, and Across the Green Grass Fields. I love that this series just keeps popping up. It just fits all of the prompts. We love that. Okay, well that kind of brings us to the final prompt that is going to be really hard, and that's why I'm gonna like open it, because again I picked it because I was like, oh, it's Gothic and it's related to like teen angels for a change as opposed to all the teen demon prompts that we've had. And then I was like, I know I have a book with this on the cover, that doesn't mean everyone else does, and that's not fair. So your prompt, your final prompt, is a church, but I will add any religious building or reference to a religious building. I was like, hey, Olivia. Coming to see how well your team's doing.
Why does this not have a religious building on it?
A religious person is not going to work.
It's the Bible.
It has to be the building or a reference to the building.
Yeah, you know what? I don't have one of those. Not even a little bit.
Oh shit. Okay. Ah!
Ouch. No,
So
I
Abby
don't
gets
have
the
one.
50 points?
Wait, is that the book that you picked?
No.
Oh, okay. Because it's not very Team Angel.
Mm-mm.
You knew what I was going for. As soon as I looked up there, you were like, she's remembered.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, she's clocked it. Because my covers don't have that because it's only on the hardbacks. So my covers don't have that, but I knew that it was on it because you showed where you've shown me the backs before.
The fact that you remembered that and it took me this long to remember.
I remember, like, my long-term memory is fantastic. My short-term memory is shot away. In 3 years, I'll remember something that happened yesterday. But as far as I am now, having a clue.
I'm exactly opposite.
Very good. I'm sure there's something. There's got to be something.
To be fair, apart from this, I don't know any others that I've got. Wait, in Priory, what are the religious buildings? Is the big spire on the cover of Priory a religious building?
It's part of the castle, so the castle would have a chapel in it. I'd say by extension, yes.
Ashley, go find Priory.
I don't know if, what's this building? Has anyone read this?
That's okay. So that's the Faye's castle as well, I think. So I don't know if it's a religious building.
I have references. I just don't have the blooming actual church.
I will allow anything. So I think like City of Brass and Copper, they've got those big doors. I don't know if they're towards like religious buildings or just buildings in general. I know that on the front of like Game of Thrones, we've lost Tish. I know on the Game of Thrones, some of them have got the 7-pointed star, which is inside their
Just
church.
in terms of helping Ashley, technically, something on this Bible could have been because pyramids.
Yeah, it's a religious building. It's somewhere that they would bury their dead. It's like a tomb or something with cows.
Reach to the gods.
Now I'm wishing you just went for the demon things. I've got a literal.
Yeah.
Take the
Have
demon.
you got any with like a pantheon on or anything
No.
like that?
Where?
I'm like, I feel like I'm helping. I'm really not. I'm really not helping.
I could have used heroes again.
You could have.
That's the thing. Ashley, how do you not have something Greek
That's why I'm
that you
looking
can use?
She's really like digging in now. She's like, I'm gonna find these. I'm gonna find these.
I was just annoyed because I have so many books. I have so many like art books with churches on them, either like paintings of churches or just like, I don't know, art and architecture of churches. So many, but they're all on a very inaccessible shelf.
See, this is what when Tish said that she couldn't find one before she disappeared. I don't know if it's my internet or hers. I'm pretty sure she's got like the Burning Girls, which has like the outline of a building, but I know that it's a priest that's the main character, so I'd have allowed that. That's probably like his home, like a parish church or something like that. But then she might not have Burning Girls. She might not have that copy.
Yeah, I don't have buildings.
I don't have buildings.
Like, at all. Where are all of the buildings?
This was the only moments in my life that I regretted not owning Toolbones.
Would you have regretted it, considering that's the one I chose? But also, I still hate this. I hate that this is the church right side up, and then this is the cover right side up. I hate that.
I love it. The cover is my favorite part of the book.
Might just have to stick with my references.
Well, like I said, none of you picked Toolbones, so none of you got half points. I'm hoping that Tish will come back, but I don't know where Tish has gone. Like, I'm assuming it's an internet thing. So, Abby, do you want to tell everyone what your full points plus 50 bonus points for literally picking it up and sitting back down again?
I mean, it took me long enough to do. I'm going to say the first choice that I could have then showed you more in detail and gotten with, which is the Holy Bible.
The Bible.
And I'm actually an atheist myself, but I went to a C of E school and we were gifted this when we left.
I've got 3 for that very reason.
Yeah, it's illustrated and everything. Thank you. And pyramids, which are where they buried their dead so they could ascend and reach their godly status. But the one that we're excited about is Skullduggery Pleasant. Armageddon Out Here, the short story collection by Derek Landy, because on the back, bam, burning church. In other words, hi, I'm Team Demon, and no, I will continuously just make this demonic.
I also love that it also has birds on it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I may have found one eventually.
Okay. There was no time limit, so what have you got?
Maybe Red Sister, you can see the convent that they go to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, convent totally counts.
Yeah, I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Took about 7 years, but because
Issues disappeared,
It's
and I found
really
2.
small. And unless you know that's what it is, that's quite like a difficult one to call.
I just remembered that they were like assassin nuns or something. I was like, that's gotta have a church somewhere, right?
Yeah. I thought someone was going to pick like Nevernight, because even though it's not necessarily on the cover, like they reference it as like
That's what I thought, but I didn't know if it was on there.
I'd have allowed it.
I don't have Nevernight itself here, because it's packed because I've read it. But it's just like bits, like it's more like things within the animals.
Yeah. No, more just that, like, I thought that, I can't remember what they refer to it. They call it the Red Church or something, don't they?
To be fair, she's literally stood in front of the building. I could have used
it. There it is.
The first one I thought of, I was just like, nah.
Dismissed. And Kelly, what did you go for?
Tales of Two Cities, Paris, London, and the Birth of the Modern City, which has the Notre Dame on it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few like Hugo books that probably would have worked as well. I'm pretty sure they've got them. But so yeah, we had quite a few people that said Toolbones because they've met me before, and they've obviously heard of Lamentable Library. We also had the Monk, the Sacrament of Olafson. I'm not familiar with that one. Prior of the Orange Tree, I would have allowed, but fair enough if you weren't sure. The Book of the Flying, which is another one I'm not. Murder at the Vicarage was a great choice.
See, actually, my first thing was the Monk, but like I said, demon with a naked man rather than church.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, tomato. The Siege of Mecca would have worked. Jamie wants to tell you that your jumper is amazing.
Thanks.
It is.
Thank you.
And I'm very sad that the Book of Flying came out before booktubers were a thing. I feel like everyone who likes Strange the Dreamer or Erin Morgenstern's works would love it. Well, then I'm going to make a note and I'm going to check it out because it's clearly a highly recommended. But I do have to write it down, otherwise I will say that and then I will forget it exists because that is how my brain works. So I'm just going to do the final bit of math. I didn't mean to click that again, but you can hear again that it's Wi-Fi cut, but I didn't have a book. I'm so sorry to hear that, Tish. If you want to pretend you did and just put one in the comments, I'll allow it.
I was going to say, if I didn't find one, eventually I fully would have been on Twitter later being like, here's my stack that I've now found.
Yeah, this is the thing, it's always the way. And I'm always, I'm sure you guys have had those moments where it's like, oh no, I don't know where such and such a thing is, or I don't know what to recommend for such and such. And then they walk away and you're like, oh, here's a long list of things that I've just remembered. That's really helpful to me. Or you fall asleep and then you remember.
It's when they ask what's your favorite book, and you're like, and then they walk away and you're like, oh no, here's all of them.
Okay, so I can tell you that Team Demon got 1,650 points. However, Team Angel got 1,800 points. So well done, Team Angel.
Hey!
Absolutely smashed it. Literally sulking now. That was so funny. You were like, oh, we did really well. Oh, that's it.
Am I supposed to, as Team Demon, be like, oh, well done?
No, that's fair enough. I absolutely expect you to be like,
you put me on this team for a reason.
yes, I did. Yes, I did. Well, there's a couple of people who I'm like, oh, maybe I should have put you on, like, no. All three of you are on the correct teams.
I still have doubts.
Yay. And, Kelly, we managed to do it within an hour so that you're not late for the ballet. We love to see it. And obviously Ashley, who also has plans for later on this evening.
Like 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Before, I don't know if it was before we came on or when we came on, we were talking earlier about how if we've got plans in like an hour or so's time, just time ceases all meaning for me. I'm like, well, I can't do anything in this time.
Yeah.
I will just sit and cease to exist for an hour and a half until I'm ready.
I'll go after this. I'll just sit and wait for it to roll around.
Yeah. So do we think then, if church is a bit difficult, do you think I should just change that to like a building or architecture? Seeing as I'm changing still life to painting, is it worth changing church as well?
I feel like with time to think about it, church would be fine. So like for the people that are going to be doing it at home with no time limit.
Or just like religious building, just to clarify the wording in case someone finds
okay.
Like, oh, can I have that? Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
So-
I will do that.
I mean, it's supposed to be the hard one.
Well, that's the thing, because it's the last one, so it is meant to be slightly trickier.
And considering you've allowed pyramids, I'm sure people can find something.
Yeah, well, it's because they count. I didn't say Christian building. I mean, church is technically a Christian building, but I tried not to be specific with it, and I still made it
You
specific.
said in your explanation it could be any religion.
Any religious building, yeah. Because it was that thing of like, I may have overdone this a little bit. But yes, as mentioned, we do have a giveaway. And earlier, I believe it was Jamie, mentioned if we were villains. So I have some hardbacks here to show you. For anyone who enters using the board that I will put on the pin thread after this, you have the opportunity to win 3 hardbacks that were picked by each of our main hosts. So I'm just going to go through them. We have the really pretty signed copy of If We Were Villains, which was chosen by Tish. Originally, she didn't pick anything. And then I said, by the way, I can get these in as a signed copy through Waypoint Books. And she was like, yes. So that's, we love that. I had to pick The Murder of Graham Catton because, of course, I did. It's literally my favourite book of all time. Like, thank you, Ashley, for introducing me to Katie Lowe in the first place. Like, I love this.
You held up
stop
that
talking
snap
about it.
and I knew what Olivia's recommendation was.
Yeah.
You held up, I was like, that's Olivia's.
Yeah. And then this one, this is Olivia's pick. So 3 really, really stunning hardbacks. And we have 3 opportunities for winners. So all you've got to do is fill out the scavenger board, post it on Twitter or Instagram, use your hashtag, because then at the Halloween party, we will be picking out one person from each team. So one from Team Death, one from Team Angel, and one from Team Demon will be able to win a really nice stack of books. And this is open internationally because Waypoint Books sells internationally, so that won't make any difference to me whatsoever. So it will go out as soon as possible. So yeah, I'm excited. Have you guys read all three, or just one or two, or
Two.
None of them.
Well, 1.5 actually.
1.5? Which one did you stop reading?
If We Were Villains.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
it's on my TBR this month because I started reading it a few years ago, but I was also studying Shakespeare, and it was just far too much Shakespeare.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
a lot.
reading it, I don't need to read it.
No, that's absolutely fair. Because I think that's the thing, is If We Were Villains is really, like, it is for Shakespeare nerds, because it's like, oh, I get that reference. But if you're already studying it, you're like, no, I don't care anymore.
This is what I don't understand about you people that did some sort of literature-based, like, uni thing. Like, I did science. Like, I was studying rocks and worms, and like, I can then just go into any like book and be fine, because it's not going to be about what I'm studying. And you guys are studying it and then reading it. I'm like, no.
I think that just goes to show what an intense human being I am, that I'm like, yes, I studied it, and then I read it, and then I went back and tried to study it again, and then I read it again. And it's just like, oh, could not get enough.
I can't remember when it was, but it was just like, oh, so you like books? And I'm like, well, I work with books. I have a YouTube channel. All my social media is about books. I study books. And they were just like, so you like books? And I'm like, yeah.
It is one of those things. It's like, it's really funny because like both my parents do a lot of like networking things, and I find it really, really hard when I talk about my business, because my options are I either tell people I write for a living or that I sell books for a living, and they're like, oh, so do you read a lot? And I'm like, do I read a lot? Not really. Not in comparison to other people that I know, but also comparison to you, yes, I read so much that I have nothing else to talk about. So
I'm going to bounce, but thank you very much.
thanks for joining us, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Enjoy the ballet.
Yeah. So is it just Blackwater Sister you've not read then, Ashley?
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by this one. This one sounds really, really cool. So
I've got another book by Zen Cho that my uncle sent me, which looks really good. I think this was her debut, so I want to read this one first, just because I have it.
I had a copy of that, but I don't know where mine is.
Maybe my uncle stole it. He lives in London. He's close enough.
Yes, that's how that works. I'm closer to France than I am to London, but sure, you go right ahead.
It's the thing where it's like any place. It's like, oh, I know someone in Edinburgh. Do you know them? And I'm like, yes. I know the entire population of Edinburgh now.
Yeah. Well, the first week you moved there, you did a survey of everyone. You got everyone's details, got to know everybody, because that's how that works.
Every day you like gain people.
As someone who is an extroverted introvert, that sounds like the absolute worst. To meet new people every day. No.
And yet you were annoyed that I gave you time to yourself when you're going to have to people.
Yeah, because I was waiting to people. I'd emotionally prepared for people, and then people weren't there, and I was like, it's one of, like, so there's a comedian called Eliza Scherzinger, and she talks about how when a girl gets ready to go out, there is a finite window where she is as good as she thinks she's going to get, and if you leave her for any longer than that, the anxiety kicks in and she starts tinkering, and it then gets worse. So it's like, okay, she's here, she gets better looking, and then she makes it worse again. And she's like, my date once turned up 2 hours, and by the time he got there, I was covered in glitter and I had grown a tail. And that's like, it's just, that to me is how I felt. It's like, I'm here, I'm ready to socialize.
Why did you not just send a message?
Because that would involve admitting how stressed I was, sat by myself. And
Yeah, but like, I would have
did that
100, if
publicly.
you just like DM'd me and been like, oi, get here, I would have been like, oh, come in. You didn't think of that, though, did you?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But I will let everyone know next time. I'll just put it in the group chat and be like, hey, I'm here. Or I just won't be quite so intense and get here half an hour early. That also works. I mean, it does make it easier that the next live show is being hosted by Tish. That does make it easier. I don't have to worry. I can just hang out in the comments and just have a great time. So, speaking of which, I don't know what the time is for Wednesday's live. I just know, or at least I think. Let me just double check. Now that I've said it, I'm like, but is it though? No, it is. It is. So on Wednesday, Tish is hosting reading sprints with Cody, Ali, and Ariel, and they'll be reading some of their Gothic reads and just doing some chill stuff. But I don't have to worry about it because that doesn't involve me at all.
Nice.
Cool. So we have no religious buildings. Yeah, I like doing big giveaways because I'm an intense human being. And also because I've got the bookshop, I can cheat because it's not going to be as nearly as expensive as if someone's buying them at full cost anyway. Is it going to be my... No, I will still allow you to get all of your points.
I saw the flash across your face of, well, maybe.
I think if I was a demon, maybe. But because I'm Lady Death, I do feel like I need to be more fair. So it's fine. I can lean into my demon ways every now and then, but not right now. Yeah, I'm really I just think this is so pretty. I mean, it helps that it's shiny. That's really all it takes. But the fact that it's got black sprayed edges, I'm really going off sprayed edges in general. Like when they're like really obnoxious colors, but a black sprayed edge.
I'm the same. Like, I'm not too bothered about just a coloured sprayed edge because I'm just like, but it's a book, it looks unnatural. And then I'm like, black though.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
Or gilded.
Yes.
Shiny. And I'm like, shiny.
Yeah. Well, your hardback of Amari, is your Amari glittery? Abby, that's you because you showed it earlier.
The answer is no, and that's why I didn't think it was me.
Oh, okay.
It's just blue.
Oh, okay.
See, the thing is, the two that I've got recently, like, if it's just like a random color, I don't get it. But with these, like, this is already just a block color, so I still like this, personally. I would like it more if it had some sort of pattern on it. Like, similar to, like, the facial markings. If that was down it in gold, then I'd be, like, buying it specifically for the edge. But these I just got in Tesco's. So I was just like, that's fair.
That's fair. Because the Felix Ever After ones have got all their stencils and stuff on the edge.
Yeah.
That's really pretty. But my thing is I don't want to put it in that side out. So I'm only going to see it when I'm like holding it or reading it. So it just
when you're taking aesthetic Instagram photos, Hannah.
Something that I need to do more often. Speaking of which, I've not posted for my challenge today. I was talking to Lizzie about this yesterday. I was like, I have created the readathon that is perfect for people who are lazy, really busy, or really forgetful. And that is because I am all three.
That's me in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, I think it didn't have, like, Olivia's moving. You're moving. Kelly was getting married. I'm trying to keep my business afloat in a pandemic, so that's fun. I was like, it needs to be chilled. So to win at Gothtober, you don't actually have to read anything.
I saw you, was it a tweet earlier that was just like the readathon where you don't have to read?
Yeah, because I said it a couple of times. And I was like,
me and Olivia are both moving is why we've already finished War and Peace.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't meant to finish it until probably about now, rather than finishing it at the end of September. And both of us were like, we're both moving in October. We both have a lot of things to do. Let's just finish it. And then we can start another one in 2022. We were also going to start like another one, like give like half a month's break, and then pick up another big book. And we're like, no.
That sounds
we're moving out.
Yeah. I'm glad you gave yourself that time to breathe.
And then instead I just picked up the Three Musketeers.
Yeah, interesting choice. I mean, to be fair, I was like, from August to the end of the year, I'm just going to read books under 300 pages because then I can hit my stupid goal of 300 books. And then the next 3 books I read were all 700 pages. Because apparently, even when I set my own rules...
That's the same response with the 300 books. 300?
The way we both just went, what?
Because I've got loads. I've got so many short reads. I've got loads of graphic novels. I've got loads of poetry. I've got loads of like plays and things. And I was like, you're just gonna
have to do like a 24-hour readathon where you get through all of the short ones.
I tried to do that in July, and I was in the house by myself, and then something kicked off outside, and my whole weekend just snowballed, and I read 2 books and was like, I don't know if this is going to work for me. I just can't be trusted. Am I on track for 300? According to Goodreads, I am 57 books behind schedule, and I have to read. I have to read 1.5 a day.
Oh my god!
Hannah,
It's an absolute joke.
the 24-hour readathon.
I think I'm gonna have to.
Otherwise,
I
you're
think
not
I'm
even
gonna
gonna
have
get
to.
close.
Thing is, like, it's so stupid. I don't, like, because originally I was just gonna do 200 books. So have I told you like why I made this fucking stupid idea? Right? I got
At least you know
baited
you're
into
fucking
it.
stupid.
Oh, it was stupid. It was really stupid. So originally I was going to do 200 because last year I read like 140 books, and that was the most books I'd ever read in like a year before. But the year before that I read 15 books. So it was like a big old like
Wait,
upswing.
15?
Yeah.
1.5.
1.5.
You went from 1.5 to 1.40, and you were like, yeah, 300, that's fine.
I was like, with that trajectory, 300 will be a doddle.
That's not how it works.
Didn't take into consideration that when I read 15, I was working as a teacher full time, and then when I read 140, it was a pandemic, so I had loads of free time. Didn't take that into consideration. Didn't take into consideration that I have 2 businesses to keep afloat, or that I'm trying to move out of my parents' house, or that things happen. Life happens. So I basically got baited. Originally I was going to do 200, and then someone was like, oh, this person's doing 300, and like the way they said it was a real, like, it was just a
Well, they're doing 300.
yeah, and I was like,
oh, I hate that.
well, I can do 300 easy, not a problem. So they were like, go on then, and I was like, well, now I have to. And then I told 2 other people about it and was like, well, now I've told people I have to do it. But the closer it gets to December, the more I'm like, no one expects me to do this. It's really not a problem if I don't do it. Like, no one expects me to actually hit it. So we will see.
I think mine was only like 60, but I'm at like 87 now. And so now there's a part of me, the little demon in my head is like, 100. I'm like, no. Moving house. I'm going to be having Christmas outside of my parents' home for the first time, which means I'm going to have to actually care about Christmas Day. I sit on my arse on Christmas Day every year. I do nothing. I'm an only child. I'm going to have to actually take part. Christmas Day, I sit there and I'm handed things. It's fantastic because I am the only child in a family of people 50 plus. So they're just like, here's some food, here's some presents, here's some alcohol.
And you just sit there like, yes.
Yeah. I sit there on the sofa, and I get just passed things. And if I do that with my partner, I think Chris will first murder me and then break up with me, which is fair. But it means I actually have to be involved. So I don't think I'm going to manage 100, but part of me still do.
My goal next year will be 1, and then anything I read above that, excellent. Well done, Hannah. Excellent work.
I can never do that because I'm always like, oh yeah, just put 1. But I know it's not 1. Like, I know I still have a target in my head. So even if I put 1, oh yeah, my Goodreads is done. Great. I still want to read 700 books.
The thing is, when I
just put 52 every year, I'm like, what a week.
But
I think that's
actually
smart,
good
though.
because then you read 1 a week. Like, it's a target that's both high and reasonable.
I think I'm on 60 something, which I want to be higher because I have hit 100 before. So every year now I'm just like 100, screw it.
Yeah, I hit 100 one year, and it was in my 3rd year of uni for my undergrad. You're probably thinking that's the busy year. No. I had by the end of that, like, yeah, sure, I had my dissertation. That was fine. I just wrote one on wind farms. But do not question my education.
I'm not questioning, I'm just enjoying. It's just, I'm studying wind farms.
I emailed the German government and made a poor German man write in English, and I wrote in German, and neither of us knew what we were saying. But so that year, like, my lectures, I had 1 hour of lectures a week. And I read 150 books because I had 1 hour of lectures a week. So I had nothing. I was doing nothing in my third year of uni. So I was like, yeah, I've read all these books, set my target the next year for 100. Like, oh, you're going to start a master's. No, the master's was full on. And I had a heart operation. And I was like,
No.
oh.
Which is
I
good.
had the opposite thing where like my uni degree made me hit 100 because I had to read 4 books a week.
Yeah.
See, that's true. You have to read them for uni, whereas, again, undergrad, wind turbines, postgrad, rocks, and volcanoes. I did my thesis on volcanoes. It's slightly better.
Yeah. See, it's thanks to my masters there were books on my books that I'd read that were actually relevant when I started BookTube, because there were loads of books that people were like, oh, like Sarah J. Maas and Lee Bardugo, and I was like, I don't know who these people are. And then we had to study Song of Achilles for part of historical fiction, and everyone was like, Song of Achilles, I've read that one already. I know that one.
I don't think I read a single book for either of my degrees. Not one.
Then how did you learn stuff? Were you just told? Was it just
academic articles? There's no point reading through a textbook when I need it, especially for like my undergrad. If I need a specific set of information about Mr. Nivalis, there's not going to be an entire book that's up to date on that specific species of weasel that I can use to Oh, well, they're so different. That I can use. And then
go into a bookstore and ask them.
have you got this up to date?
For my masters, all of the stuff about rocks, the only books about rocks are all the basics, whereas I'm learning specific things about hazards, and so it's all academic articles. What was I meant to do? Find a book about Vesuvius and think it's going to help with my master's thesis? No.
I'd love if you'd done your master's thesis on Vesuvius. No, but in that, I'm going to take Song of Achilles. That's got Vesuvius in it.
Right. I thought you were like, oh, if you'd even done that. No,
I'm taking the piss out of books in general, not you and your degree. You're fine. But
my degree is a bit of a piss take, so it's fine.
I mean, if you're studying volcanoes and wind farms, maybe not. It's more serious than mine, which was reading and writing, but at an extensive level, as opposed to just whatever.
You guys were inside reading. I was climbing volcanoes.
Yeah, that's way cooler.
Etna erupted. It was the coolest thing when we were up it. We were all freaking out. All of the locals that were just up there doing their thing were just like, okay, it's erupting. And there's just this group of half English, half global master students just best degree ever. Literally, we're like, oh my god, look, trying to learn the Italian word for look to get these people to look, and they're like, it's Etna.
I don't believe for a second that you just going wasn't enough, because if someone's talking a language I don't understand just went
no, but they wouldn't look at us for us to point.
Again, if you'd made a noise enough and waved your arms, I feel like this.
We were. There was a group of 18, 20 to 50-year-olds.
Oh, so these people were actively
pretty much, yeah. And all of us were like, we don't care. The volcanoes erupted.
The volcano. When the Icelandic volcano erupted and there was all that ash and all the planes were forced to land, I was stuck in the Maldives on a biology trip, and that is the coolest thing. Yeah, genuinely, they were like, we meant to go home a week earlier. And we had to stay,
you were on a school trip, so you wouldn't even probably have to pay because it's not your fault that you're stuck. Oh, that's the best idea.
It was my dad. It's so funny because I love bringing it up to my dad, who his biology trip was a trip to the marshes to just poke rocks and things. My biology trip was to the Maldives to look at whale sharks, and that's on a grammar school education. So it was just it was pure fluke. It just happened to be that my biology teacher was friends with the person who had started the charity, and they were doing loads of promotional stuff, and they were like, you know what would look really good is if we had a school come out, and she was just like, I'll bring some sixth formers that I absolutely trust not to burn something down, and we'll do. And there was loads of just opportunities like that, but it was that was the coolest. But then getting stuck there and knowing that you only had so many things to wear and not having a washing machine or anything like that, that was the hard bit.
now I'm thinking about the time that my dad ended up stuck in Central America. Hannah already knows. Ashley doesn't. My dad was in the army. So they were stuck in Central America because the plane, the tail had basically snapped. So they were waiting for another one to be sent out. But they were in a civvy airport and their bags had been checked in. So they couldn't get the bags back. So they were there for 4 days, just sat on the tarmac, as in like underwear inside out, start taking layers off level. And it got to the point where they just duct taped the plane and threw across the Atlantic back to Britain.
Huh.
I trust duct tape.
I don't.
Not even genuinely fine. They did it. They did a little test flight and they went, yeah, that's fine. And they just flew home.
That's such a military response, though, because a friend
And the
of mine
part arrived the next day.
Yeah, of course it. Of course it did.
But to be fair, they had also been going through the rainforest, like using their rifles as like bats against these big spiders the size of my dad's hand. So I think that they were fine with the duct tape plane.
I just don't trust the military when I hear stories like that.
Stories I'm allowed to tell. Anytime I've got a video where I'm like rating my dad's TBR coming up this month because my dad reads as well. The amount of things I have to cut out whenever I'm speaking about my dad, because I'm like, that's not allowed to be public. That's not allowed to be public knowledge. Because he worked with MI5 as well. So the amount of things he's got.
Are you allowed to say that on a live stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's public knowledge. You worked with MI5. It wasn't a spy. You just worked in the office.
I thought you weren't like. Okay, the reason I say that is because a friend of mine, her boyfriend, worked somewhere in London that was like related to the MI5, and he was like, "Oh, I work in this building. But you're not allowed to tell anyone." So then, whenever they used to walk past as a couple, she'd be like, "You work there?" and he'd be like, "Shut up!" Like it was just. Like she just couldn't get that it was like
the last
secret.
time that my dad worked with them was in like the early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
Like it was when I was pretty young when we lived in London.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no memory of this.
That's fair.
But yeah, so like the amount of things that like he's then either he's like mentioned little bits where it's fine if I know, but like don't put it on the internet. And then there's other things where it's like I don't know. There's so many things I just don't know. Like I can tell you guys when we go off air because it's fine for people to know, but it's not fine to be like broadcast.
Right.
And so the amount of stuff that I'm like, can I say this? I'm like, I could say this to a friend, but I can't like broadcast. It's a pain. Kev is a nightmare.
And that is why I could never do it. I can't keep a secret to save my life. Not my secrets anyway. Like if I knew someone that worked in it, fine. But if I worked for MI5, I'd be like, oh yeah. So this one time at MI5, oops, wasn't meant to tell you that. Like I just wouldn't be able to do it. Couldn't do it. But can I just wanted like okay, going back to talking about books rather than MI5.
Yes.
How are you closer to hitting my target than I am? That's so unfair.
Just how?
So Brian, it's just yeah.
Right. See, the thing is, what pisses me off is that technically, I could. Again, me and Hannah have had this discussion. I read pretty fast, and if I just sat and read, like that's
you've got a life. You've got shit to do. That's fine.
But I don't. I just sit and scroll Instagram.
That also counts.
Fair.
Yeah. Cool.
It's the same where I'm like, I have to nowadays have reading sprints to get me to read because it's like, just sit down. Just sit.
Once I start, I'm enjoying it. But am I going to pick it up again on my own? No.
The thing is, the problem I've got is where a lot of the reviews I write on the first 5 chapters. One, because it helps me avoid spoilers. Because at the end of the day, if it's happening in the first 5 chapters, it's expositional. It's not going to be like the dramatic plot twist. But I can talk about the writing style. I can talk about the characters I like and things like that. So I tend to do a lot of my reviews at 5 chapters. And it now means that when I hit that 5 chapter mark, I've had the serotonin I'm going to get from this read. And then I put it down and I pick up a new read because new serotonin. And it's just like, oh. So that's why I'm currently reading 11 books. I'm currently reading 3. There's 3 that I'm committing to because one's an audiobook, one is a reread, so I tend to read it quicker, and one is like a new read. So those are the 3. But according to Goodreads, I'm reading 11 because I've picked up these books and then just not finished them.
I am the exact opposite. You read 5 chapters and you're done. I need for a 4 to 5 for a 3 to 400 book, like a standard book. I need 100 pages. Now, because Ashley doesn't know, that's not so bad for me because that's an hour. I don't know how fast you read, but it's an hour for me.
Not 100 pages an hour, anyway.
You're gonna kill me. Where is it?
Oh.
I read this at about 200 pages an hour. I don't know how. I don't know. I just read.
You're just such an intense human being, Abby. I can't compete, and I don't want to compete, but I also kind of want to compete. You know.
But so I need to just sit and read for an hour, basically, before I care about a book. If I stop before I reach, again, if it's that length of book, the 100-page mark, obviously it increases, decreases. Then it's something has to make me pick it back up again. So the best thing, I really need to sit down when I start a book and do an hour sprint. Otherwise, it's just going to be a slow progress. I track my reading with pages read every day, and you can see because each book has its own color. It was Sabriel last month, where I've got my journal here. It's so obvious when you see it. Because I read a bit and then didn't read it, and then read a bit and then didn't read it, and then read all of it. So it's yellow, which is unhelpful. Oh no, it's not too bad. So tiny bit. Clearly I'm kind of over the 100 there. Am I? Yes. Okay, I'm done.
Am I? Yes.
I just I'm either reading or I'm really not reading.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
To be fair, I get into those things because I think it was last month where all of my days were either I'm reading 300 pages or nothing. And I'm just can we just average this out somewhere?
Yeah, yeah. If we could make this somewhat more but more consistently.
Literally everything, nothing.
Yeah. I'm seeing a trend.
You need a moment after you finished a book to not be a reader and to
pretty much
or about doing other things and then read again.
It's why I like finishing a book just before I fall asleep. So if I have less than 100 pages, I'll go to bed a little bit earlier and then I will just read until I finish it. I find that last 100 pages so much easier to get through than the first 100 pages.
Because you're going to hit the end.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
It's only 50 pages till it's done.
Yeah, and then I'm in bed and I'm sat still. I've got my little light on and I just read until it's over. And then I'm oh, it's 3 a.m. Cool. Because it doesn't actually take me any less time to read it. I just think it does. And then, I tend to finish a lot more books. And then I'm just that was lovely. And now I can fall asleep. And then I wake up and I'm ready for something else. But otherwise, I've never finished the book in the afternoon and been what do I do with the rest of my day? I tend to just pick up something else. If it's usually a series and I just pick up something else. I can't. I think I don't tend to slump. I don't tend to just not read, but I kind of slump in the way of I'm either reading something consistently or I'm just picking up lots of things and not finishing them. It's more of that. But then I DNF like a trooper. So it's not if I'm no, this is just boring, bin it. Absolutely. I had to get this out of my unhaul pile.
How you do it.
I was I'm not keeping this. I don't need to. It was not good. And if it wasn't for the fact that, I gave it 4 stars initially. And then the more I talked about it with Kelly and Becca, the more I was oh, I hate this. Why did I give it 4 stars?
I did that when I filmed my wrap up early. There was one book and I just ranted about it and then was I rated this 2 stars, but now it's a 1 star.
It's a 1 star. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you give something a 3 and you're oh, I'll discuss it, and you think you're going to have good and bad, and it's just worse and worse and worse and worse. And you're is this a 1 star? What?
Yeah. You find out you gave it 3 stars because there was one character that you were kind of attached to, or there was one scene that you were that was a cool idea, but it never actually came to anything.
Thing the other way, where I finish a book and I'm yeah, that's fine. And I rated 3 stars. And then a month later, I'm still thinking about it and only have positive things to say. And I'm was it a 3 star?
Can you hear that?
Yes, what is it?
It's just the wind. The window's shut, but it's just very aggressive today. But it got really loud then because we've got loads of trees and stuff outside. Oh, that was creepy. The other day, after I'd done the midnight live stream, the wind kind of died down and I could just hear the tree in the background just creaking. And I was oh, I love that in the house by myself at night, having read Gothic fiction. Thank you.
Perfect time for it.
Cool. Well, I did say it was going to be an hour and a half, and I have successfully wasted an hour and a half of your time. So thank you very much for coming along. It's been lovely to have you. And thank you everyone for watching. I can't wait to see what books you put on the scoreboard as well, because there's so many more TBRs that I've got to catch up on and count as well. There's so many points to hand out. I'm very excited.
You're just like, everybody gets points.
I really am.
Coming out in an hour.
Mm.
So then you've got to add points for Hellhound.
Yeah, well, obviously. It's really interesting because there were loads of Hellhounds on Twitter and YouTube. And then there was just this upsurge of angel ones on YouTube. And Instagram is almost exclusively angels. And I'm just like...
I keep looking through the Hellhound on Insta and I'm like, anyone? Hello?
Hello?
Just me?
Just you. Just you. But anyway, thank you again so much for coming. Thanks, Olivia, for dropping in. It's been really nice to see you all. But I've dropped all of your info in the description bit.
Thanks.
Not that they'll all be following you guys anyway, but just in case you're not, it's all there anyway. So I will click end and I will see you all next time.
Bye.